The ModernJeeper Show, the show about Jeeps, Jeeping, and Jeepers.
Well, hey, Modern Jeepers, this is another episode of the ModernJeeper Show with me, Matson, Metalcloak, and Mr. Modern Jeeper, Corey Osborne.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Rockstar Jeep Girl Jessy.
What's happening?
You know, I've noticed, like, I just flubbed the beginning. Like, if we miss 1 week, I can't do it. I lose my skill base.
Right? Yeah. I was writing. I started writing down little notes. We are actually on our way home, and I pulled over and thought, well, okay, this will be a good spot. I wrote down some notes, and I had to remember. Wait a minute, it's been like 2 weeks at least, and I think the last one we did was kind of quick. And again, we're on the road, but I started writing notes down, and I realized, oh my gosh, we haven't talked about so much that's happened in the last 2 months, probably.
Yeah.
I know we're gonna miss so much too because we just don't have enough time for it. It is,
Right.
however, Halloween. I'm wearing orange, telltale. You know, orange for Halloween. My favorite color holiday, I guess I could say, because
Makes
of the orange, right? Of course.
Right.
And of course, we have a sale going on right now. Those that are going to listen to this on Thursday will go, "What? Huh? What? Huh? Missed it?" But yeah, we do have a sale going on right now. It's our annual
should be
pumpkin
signed up for
sale.
them emails, right?
You should
Yeah.
email, text. We text messages, yeah, it's just been a fun day. It's been a fun day. Lots of good stuff happening. But
for those that are missing, go ahead.
I've been so out of it. It's been a whirlwind. Like, it's just been going all morning. I even feel weird because I'm driving the minivan today and not the Gladiator. So I think just my whole day has been off.
Well, I feel a little out of sorts. I think both of us do too. We're at that stage where I calculated we've been gone 63 days. In the last 63 days, we've been home 5.
What?
Yeah.
5 days and 60. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, that was like our good old buddy who maybe still does work for Daystar. What was his name? But
Don.
Yeah, he was on the road like 300 days a year.
Yeah.
Like and he doesn't do that anymore, thankfully. But that was his life, like on the road. I just don't know how you guys do it.
Well, I mean, we've had a lot going on, and we've also, this year was a little bit better of an attempt to reach out to our jobbers, reach out to shows that we hadn't necessarily been to in the past, support some of the shows that we wanted to support, reach out and do some charity stuff as well. So yeah, it's been a good few months. I'm not going to say it's been bad by any means. We did get some snow at the beginning of the week, and I know some folks out there, a lot of pictures of Colorado in the last 4 days, 3 days. We had quite a bit of snow at the house, but we weren't going to complain because it's been in the 80s while we've been gone. Yet we're in just north of Amarillo, Texas, and it's like 48 degrees. So, and it's really nice. So we'll take it.
That's awesome. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's great. Weather has been nice. We had a little rain last week. They just kind of popped up out of no place. Started the season, but it's been beautiful, nice and cool. Lots of stuff happening around here. Everybody's doing their stuff, and it's good. And I'm not going through those modes. Like I will go through a mode when it goes from being like a beautiful, sunny, hot day to like cloudy, moody day. I get cloudy and moody, and I hate that because it's like, well, it's a beautiful day. What's this? Oh, it's too hot. I just go back and forth. I get like this roller coaster of moods because of the clouds up here. But it's been beautiful. It's been great, and I just can't complain.
So this, even though that the listeners aren't going to be able to take advantage of this sale, I'd heard a little bird told me that probably by maybe sometime around the Black Friday stuff going on in the 3rd week of November, that there might be some shocks on the website.
Yes. The Rocksport Blacks will be live they're supposed to be live this month. It's going to be November probably shipping right after Black Friday, but they will go live before Black Friday. So definitely by the time we do our Black Friday sale, which is probably the only time we ever talk about a sale before a sale, we'll have the Black Friday and we'll have those shocks going. So it'll be pretty cool. I mean, this is, I think we talked about it a little bit, how one little final upgrade. I don't have any. Did I get an example? Did I show it? I don't even know what we did. Like I showed the gold shaft. I mean, it's just, this is an incredibly looking good shaft.
We never saw a gold shaft. What are you talking about?
You didn't see the gold shaft?
You're talking about.
No, I don't have a clue.
We may have seen a gold shaft, but maybe I
Not
don't think
for
we
you.
did anything on the podcast with it.
No.
No. I'm trying to remember. I remember we showed a shock. I had somebody go grab it. I didn't know if that was the gold shaft I showed or something else I showed. It's hard to keep track of all this stuff. So
and there's so many new things. The ball joints are out there now. We've seen such cool things. We have customers that already have some of the long arm stuff that we're seeing on the Gladiators, and it's been cool, and stuff's working really well. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we're blessed to have some great designers here. We're blessed to have some great products, blessed to have great customers. And it's what motivates us to keep doing stuff, right? The Rocksport Black shocks, those are just going to be, they're an incredible shock. We have so many people reaching out to us already, and many of our influencers and others out there like, oh, when do I get my hands on it? But we're going to be, the initial production runs are going to be about customers. Same with the ball joints have hit the market. The JT ball joints are live. They've been live and they're shipping right now. The JK ball joints actually should be this week. In fact, they're ready to go. In fact, I prematurely went live on them. They're like, oh, no, I messed up something on the site, so they had to pull it down. So they were like live for like 8 hours or something. But something on the website wasn't quite right, so we pulled them down. But it should be back up. What's that?
Putting together some ball joints there at the shop.
You heard about what?
Oh, one of the new shipping people, I think, is assembling them.
Oh, yes. Yeah, exactly. Assembling them. And she was also doing wiring yesterday.
Yeah.
She was doing some wiring because I think for our rear taillight wiring systems, there's some little wiring that has to be done on it for that new system that we have for the JL.
Oh, cool. Well, for our listeners, that would happen to be Jesse's daughter that's an employee of Metalcloak. And she's pretty excited that they've trusted her with doing some kind of cool stuff.
Yeah. I mean, she is like a mom, so.
Yeah. Mom pride. Yeah, no, she's doing well. I mean, that's the thing is, if it's true about anything, guys. I mean, you're out there doing your work, and you're just doing your work, and you're focusing on that, and not doing other stuff, and not making mistakes. Then you get trusted with more and more products, right? I have a couple guys here that came from my gym that brought over here, and one of them, he just got promoted to actually being assembling the shocks.
Nice.
He worked for, and so but I said, there's no pressure on you. I mean, you're only assembling one of the most important products we've ever produced. And you have mistakes on that could hurt our entire reputation. So really no pressure on your daughter either to get it wrong at all. I mean, it's like, so that's the thing.
I told her how important it was.
Exactly.
So y'all know.
Yeah.
Exactly. You want to ship those things out right and not have problems with them, and have them go out to the customer and have the customers be happy. And it's amazing that it is hard. Mm-hmm. It is hard. I'm listening to a book right now called Dumbing Us Down. Mm-hmm. And I say listening because I ended up doing the Audible on it, but it's absolutely incredible how bad this award-winning educator is talking about how bad our education system is.
Oh.
And it's not even just what we're being taught, it's how we're being taught it. Like, why do we need to know so many different disparate things in a given day? Social studies, as opposed to simply learning how to be great readers, learning how to understand math, right? Knowing how to write and have penmanship, and knowing how to assemble ideas, and like those are the basic. From there, you can learn many things, but we are so distracted in our day. And then we go from being distracted in our day to being distracted at night with television and media and everything else.
We talked about that on the road, actually.
And the amount of time given to our kids, or even to us, to actually just be ourselves and learn who we are, if you actually take a day and break it down, it's like a minuscule amount of hours in a given week that we give to our kids or even to ourselves to develop ourselves better, to do it ourselves
Absolutely.
to ourselves. Everything else is about what you're going to do to me or what I'm going to do to you, or here's this or here's that, or this network or that thing or whatever. It's insane. So when you have somebody who can sit down and actually focus and do the job, it's actually an outlier. And it shouldn't be an outlier. It should be
No.
the standard. We should be able to just sit down and focus and do something. But
You
we
know,
don't.
it's part of it's interesting because this has come up these last number of events that we've been through. It's a very interesting thing to step out and watch it. If I go back, if I think about 25, 30 years ago, things all happened in such a different way. And because of technology now, because of social media, because of TV and all of our surroundings, we literally are, like you just said, we're pulled in 1,000 different directions at any given moment. And I think it's interesting where we're headed. And I don't know how, if it's going to get better or worse. I have a feeling it's going to get worse before it gets better. There needs to be a significant change. I mean, we're seeing it now on the news channels. They're actually talking about in schools about the negative effects of social media and how our kids are growing up not knowing anything else but social media. I mean, if you think about that movie Idiocracy from the past,
Right.
wow, there's a lot of truth, that we're pushing towards this dumbing down of all of us, and that's not
Well,
good. That's not healthy.
well, and part of that as well, he talks about communities, right? We
Mhm.
don't have communities where kids hang out with their grandparents and learn stuff from their grandparents or the elderly people in the community, teach the young kids the stuff that they learn, right? You don't have that kind of community. You have networks. We're in social networks. We're in just networked groups, right? We're networking with each other. And networks, it's not real. It's
Nope.
not a community. It's not a support community because when it's all said and done, one of the interesting things that hit me, when you're all said and done, when you walk away from a network, you're alone.
Yep.
When you go home from a network, you're alone. You don't
Mhm.
have the family or community around you. And that's what our kids are in. Our kids are constantly arriving in a network. They're being
Yes.
and even John Adams Academy, where I send my kids. This is a book that actually the leadership group there is studying and reading, but the they're still operating on a curriculum described and subscribed by the state that they have to follow to a certain degree. It's how they teach it is different, but you still have a kid like my own. Like on Monday, I actually went into the class and I did what's called being a mystery reader. So you show up and you call upstairs, and the teacher goes, "Oh, guys, we got a mystery reader. What are our clues?" And I say, "Well, my son or my scholar is a boy. Hey, everybody, the scholar is the boy." And then my scholar has a brother. Hey, everybody, the scholar is who is it? Who is? And then my scholar has curly dark hair. Right? Oh, who is it? Oh, it's Joshua. Okay, great. So I come upstairs and I read parts of Little House on a Prairie. Now I just read Little House in the Big Woods to them, and if you want to understand what it takes to just get through a day in a time when you didn't have all the fixings we have, read those old books. And Little House on the Prairie, the section I read, just about 20 minutes worth, was where they had just arrived where they're going to build their house, decided where they're going to build their house. And so, what does Pa have to do? Take the wagon, strip everything off the wagon, take the wagon down to the creek and start loading logs on it. And just start taking loads and loads of logs back. And he doesn't pause. He just cross the country. First thing he does is take everything off. First thing he does is go get the logs. First thing he does is bring it back, start hewing the logs and start going and building the walls of his house. One of the logs falls on Ma's foot. It's black and blue and purple and green. And she's still making dinner.
Yeah.
We live in think about that. We live in a society where we are a bunch of wimps,
Oh
and
yeah.
we don't we're a bunch of wimps, and we're like pansies. Like I get on my sons. I love my sons, but like, well, I don't want that for dinner. Like, kiddo, let me tell you, you're lucky you're eating anything. Yeah,
what has become the most important thing we all do every day, and even during the day, making sure our cell phone's charged.
you're right. Mm-hmm.
That's our big deal of the day.
That's no matter what, got to plug in
Right.
the cell phone.
Yeah. Oh, I got to find a charger. I got to find a cord. Anybody got one I can borrow? Because I'm almost, I'm down to 40%. I'm going to freak out.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is it. When you go backpacking and you go hiking, and I praise anybody who does that and takes their kids out and does camping with disconnected, like offline, where you have to learn how to do things to survive, and like you actually have to make your meal, and you actually have to go and cook something or maybe catch a fish and then cook that. I mean, those little types of things, true basic Boy Scout skills. Everybody needs to do that. I'm sorry, everybody needs that. If you imagine if you had a society where everybody actually knew how to do that stuff.
Wait a minute. Do you mean we don't need all the stuff that we load up in our overlanding rigs to go camping?
Right. You guys with your fridges.
You're right. Yeah.
Fridges and your freezers and all that food you bring with you. An instant.
Yeah.
Making fun of me.
17 stoves, and I tell you,
Yeah. And it's like, so the overlanders who are really, come on, let's get faced. There's some overlanders that are pretty much just glamping in a Jeep.
Yeah, we've already started. So SEMA started today, and we've already started to see pictures, social media wise, of some of the rigs that are at SEMA and everybody that's SEMA. And it's weird for us because I think this is the first SEMA I've missed in, gosh, I don't know, a very, very long time. Yeah, it's the first one Jesse's missing 6 years. So it's weird, and we talked about it because I'm like, how do you feel about it? And we're kind of bummed that we're not there, but we're also not bummed at all that we're not there.
Well, let me ask you: are you bummed you're not there because of the booths or because of the people?
The people.
Yeah, there's people you like to see.
It's cool to see new stuff, but I don't know if this was that year. I mean, with Stellantis having pulled out of it, and I think a lot of manufacturers are kind of a little bit in a holding pattern until the UAW strike gets settled. But I don't know. There's going to be, obviously there's some cool stuff there and some new stuff, and a lot of folks are releasing their new products. But you know what? We'll see them as they market their stuff as we go forward the next couple months. We'll see it in other aspects. So
sure,
dealing with the crowds and dealing with all of that is SEMA. I don't know. For right now, we've been gone so long that we're okay with not being there. I mean, we get to not see our friends and we miss out on that, but we'll see them somewhere else.
Yeah. Sure. Well, the news came out today, I think, that UAW just made a deal with, I think GM was the last standout. So I think it might, by the time this podcast goes live, it could all be cleared up and back into production. But I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan of unions. Not in this day and age. It's just
it's funny. I don't know why this came into my mind. Jesse was doing a little bit of digging because I was complaining about some of the prices of traveling. And, usually we try to kind of, we watch our budget pretty good. I'm always conscious about what things are costing, and diesel exhaust fluid.
Mercy.
So interestingly enough, a box, 2.5 gallons that you typically see in a convenience store or at a gas station, those box prices have like doubled and in some cases tripled,
quadrupled.
You can get it in bulk at a large truck stop for typically around $4 a gallon. In a box, day before yesterday, I saw a box at a convenience store for $34.99.
Holy crap! Well, that's just convenience stores. That's just convenience store gouging. I mean, convenience stores. I'm sorry,
it is. To an extent.
The candy bar at the supermarket costs $1.50. The candy bar at the convenience store costs $3.
I guess that's a convenience fee.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's just, and it's the insanity of it. Convenience stores have always, especially the smaller ones, they have higher prices. But when you go to I'm curious, like if you go to a Love's, like if you go through Love's, like what does a box cost at Love's?
It's a little expensive. It's a little over $20, like $23. Even though they offer it in bulk in their diesel lanes, but not out front. You very rarely. We have a station in Montrose that actually has diesel at the pump, and it's a very small gas station, which is rare. Very rarely do you find bulk def at a regular, a car diesel pump.
Yeah. That's interesting because we've talked about that before, but was it Love's is the single largest producer of DEF in the nation?
Yeah.
Does that mean it's just for them, or are they doing it? Are they reselling it?
And I think that's what's happening with, you see the packaging of the blue
There's
DEF.
different materials that have gone up to make the jugs. I mean, I read a whole thing on why it's going up. And of course, Ukraine and Russia are fighting. That has a thing to do with it.
Yeah,
there's so many variables. Everything's went up. Everything.
Going up. Well, we just did a price increase. We did across the board, although we did a across the board price adjustment. I'll say that because some prices went down.
It has to.
Other prices went up, but we haven't done that in a while. And it just became to the point where you just have to. I mean, between labor costs, between the cost of being in California,
the cost of materials in general.
Cost of materials,
crazy.
Yeah.
Shipping
and all that stuff. And when you do free shipping, it's guys, I'm sorry, but we do free shipping, but we're not going to simply eat that shipping. It gets folded up into product cost at some point, right? And but it's the thing we got to do, which is why then we have sales like today's Halloween sale, the pumpkin sale.
That's right. And it's a good thing that so we just one of the events right after our last podcast, we were headed to Myrtle Beach. And we hadn't been there for a couple years, but again, it's always fun to go back to events that we hadn't been at very recently. Shout out to Native Sons and Chris Trout, who are the coordinators for that event. And they just do a great job. And I say that because I think we're kind of biased, because it's pretty awesome when we pull up to an event and they know who we are. They know where we're going to be. It's all taken care of, rather than some of these coordinators that we've dealt with in the past, where we pull up and they're like, who are you? What do you do? You have a trailer. What are you going to do with that? Like, I don't understand.
We get enough of that.
Yeah. So it's really nice when we pull up to an event and they have our space already cut out and everybody's aware of what we do and where we're at. It was nice. We had Bobby come out from Sacramento to help us, and Curtis came down with his Jeep. So we had Jesse and Curtis's Jeep on display with all of our rack stuff on it. And
we were the only overland anything at Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of attention, a lot of people climbing around, asking a lot of questions about our rigs. So it was good.
Yeah,
wow.
It was.
Wow.
We did have a generator issue where I think it was a combination. This is a new generator. It's only been on there for about a year.
I don't know how, but it broke, actually.
We actually broke a motor mount on the generator. And I don't know if it's a combination. I think it's a combination of rough roads across the country and just the vibrations that the trailer sees. But it turns out you can't really run the generator with 3 motor mounts because it wants to basically dig itself into its own frame and eat itself alive.
Yeah. I started it up Friday. We had set up, Thursday?
Yeah.
And then Friday morning, afternoonish, we get there and I fired the generator up. And as soon as it fired up, we looked at each other like, what is that noise? It sounded like some metal digging into something going to die. So we found it. An hour later, we got about 5 rigs on there until it started dumping massive amount of rain for hours. So that was
Yeah.
But we had some help getting that thing back together. It was I wish we should have set up a video camera and watched us finagle this motor mount back into the
well, so I was able to get it out because it was in 2 pieces. It turns out and then gotta say thanks to AccuAir Suspension, our friend Jamie over there and his buddy Max had a local shop. So Max took it over to his shop and actually I gave him both pieces of the motor mount. They welded it back together, which was great, except then trying to get it back into the generator
in one piece.
With it back together without taking the entire generator apart. That was kind of an ordeal. So between Curtis and Jesse lifting up on everything, me taking about half of the generator into pieces, we ended up fitting the motor mount back in there. So it is together. It's not quite fixed. I looked for a local motor mount from a Honda dealer, but nobody had one. So ordered a set from Amazon, had them there after we left. So we get home and that'll be the next little project for the trailer.
We figured out how to use the Amazon boxes.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
About that.
So the lockers, the Amazon locker, like we've never, it's an option when we're traveling. We're always looking for an address we can ship something to. Well, these lockers are inside some stores. So for example, there was a Ross Dress for Less near this event, and I could have those motor mounts shipped to this locker. And then when it arrives, you get a code, it scans it and opens the locker door. Pretty slick.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great.
I was reading up on it, and since everybody is on the road anymore or van lifing it or RVing it, I always wondered how they got their mail.
Start doing that instead of trying to have stuff shipped to your hotel where they charge you, $20 for a boxing fee.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty slick. We walked into Ross and here's this big bank of blue lockers, and I'm like, oh, well, and they're all electronically controlled. Walk right up to it and it unlocks your door and off you go. So kind of cool.
That's it.
Yeah. That's
it. Wait, how do you unlock it?
With your phone.
Well,
it sends you a barcode on your phone.
Scan it.
That's it.
That's it. And it unlocks it.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
So you're like, you don't know where it is.
You just scan the bar and then whatever one it is just pops open.
Yeah. You scan in the main thing and then a door will pop open somewhere in that bank. I don't know what happens.
You can be like, so a thief could be like my dogs. Whenever I'm making food, they're like always, they sit there like staring at the floor at your feet. Like, they're staring there going, where I'm waiting. There's going to be something that's going to drop on the floor, and one of us is going to be first. So if I wanted to, I could just hang out there by a locker and go like, all right, which one is going to be?
Wait. Yeah.
I can run and grab it. Yeah, it's funny.
We did stop by a couple of our local jobbers in that area. Aggressive Crawlers, kind of a small shop, does a lot of conversion stuff. And FBK, FB as in boy, K, Farm Boy Customs.
Farm Boy Customs. That's fun.
Yes. We went actually over to his shop, and he's in the middle of expanding and growing his business. And it was kind of cool to talk to a couple of local South Carolina guys and see how their business is doing. And it was unique, definitely.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So FBK, Farm Boy Customs. What's the story behind it? That's just what they are.
He had a little shop out of his garage basically, and it kind of expanded into this building, and now he just took over the majority and actually the whole building.
Yeah,
so he's got a lot of work to do in half of it. Handful of employees, a lot of custom work. Again, they're kind of in that area is very interesting. It's not a very high end area, a lot of rough country type of customers out there. But Aggressive Crawlers, which is his competing shop, if you will, they do some really specialized swaps and conversions. They're putting 3.6s into LJs and TJs.
Really?
Yeah.
Kind of an interesting take on that. Yeah.
Interesting. And what sort of mileage they get?
I'm not sure, but I guess if you're 4-liter, you really just are done with the 4-liter and you want that little bit more horsepower, you can upgrade to the 3.6.
I guess it's an upgrade, but
I'll
take the mileage out of my, I don't know. My TJ gets pretty good mileage. My minivan that has a 3.6 gets incredible mileage. My Gladiator with a 3.6 gets horrible mileage. In fact, it cost me, I may have mentioned this before, but it cost me $20 to $25 a day in gas to take my kids to school.
That's just the way you drive.
Yeah, it's it is partly like this morning. We left at 11 we left at 7:40, which was 5 minutes late. We should be out the door by 7:35. 7:40, or we left. To school starts at 8:15, which we were in line. And it's amazing how many parents are there in those last 5 to 7 minutes, right? Like school, I'm pulling in at I usually am not this late, but I'm pulling into the line, and there's like, oh my God, there's easily 100 cars, 200 cars ahead of us that all need to go through in the next 7 minutes. And somehow we did it. Like I managed to drop them off at 8:14. Like literally they're getting out of the car at 8:14. At 8:15, they start doing paperwork and make your kids go into the multi-purpose room. Right. But even on days when I'm driving, even when on days when I'm not pushing it up the hill, I'm still burning through, $15 to $20 in that thing. So on Sunday, or actually Saturday, I went and looked at another car because I decided, maybe I need to get a car that I can commute with. So I went and looked at a Subaru Forester Sport.
Oh,
which
yeah.
Those that know John here at Metalcloak, that's what he drives every day. That's his daily driver.
That's what my dad drives.
Yeah, and to me, it was a great little car. It's the Sport. It's got the orange accents, which of course, orange. I like orange. And it was a great little car. And this was a salvage title, so it was only 18 grand. And right now, I mean, they're about 25 to 30. I think you see most of them online for that price. So it was a good deal. But I just couldn't convince Louisa. She didn't like it. She thought it was ugly. She didn't like the orange accent. She didn't like and all these little details about it. And it was like, we got to have an agreement on something. It's not just me just saying, hey, it's mine, I'm going to buy it. Instead, she wants me to buy her a sports car and then I can use the minivan to commute with, which I'm like,
that sounds like a
how this
great
is working.
deal.
I'm not, this is not the direction I wanted to go. I want something that I can actually enjoy and drive with, and that is actually functional too, because throw the kids in there, go up in the snow, go play around, right? Sometimes take the Jeep, sometimes take the Subaru.
Right.
And I can show Subaru drivers how to be a Subaru driver without being an asshole. Did I say that out loud?
You know that Subaru backwards is you are a bus.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's okay. So, my aunt is a Subaru ambassador, and she just had one for years for whatever reason. She became an ambassador, and Subaru saved her life because they were in a WRX heading up from LA to Nevada, where they're in Minden, Nevada, and got in a seriously bad accident. And the car was totaled, and they lived, and it was because of the Subaru. Right. So she'll praise Subaru. And so as an ambassador, like if I was buying a new one, there's an extra discount that the ambassador can give me.
Sure.
I'm not looking to buy a new car. I just want to get a nice little used commuter. And I don't want to, get a Honda or a Toyota or something that it's still going to be my daily driver, right? It's still the thing I'm going to be driving to work and maybe around and do other stuff with. So, otherwise I'd get a little Geo Metro, throw the kids in the back of that and get like 65 miles to the gallon.
I don't know why, but I just had this vision.
I don't see him in a Subaru at all, but
well, I just had this thing. If you're an ambassador of something, I think that you should have to wear like a pageant thing that goes across you and some kind of a crown or what? Like,
no.
If you're an ambassador, like, do you carry like a specter thing, like a I don't know.
No, but you do need to have a cadre. Like you do need to have people. Like, so if you're an ambassador someplace, you should have somebody following you all the time. You should have your little your little posse.
Maybe you should have a cape too.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You're going down I don't know about that. I think you're just having fantasies of being a king.
Is that kind of
specter? Specter, crown,
Joker.
Joker. An ambassador is simply one who just does others' biddings, but does it nicely and helps other people. Think about it. If you're an ambassador to a country, you're just doing the bidding of the president, but you're trying to do it nicer and you drink a lot on the government's dime.
And what's that say about somebody you're representing if they're not doing it as nice?
Well, that's the whole point. Always have a filter between you and somebody
Filter.
else. Yes,
Gotcha.
that's what a good family would have a nanny as their filter between an irate father, me, and the kids who shouldn't have done what they did. I was just telling the other day, I was like, you know what? Start young. A friend of mine just told me that his wife's pregnant. That's awesome. And they're young and it's going to be great. And they're going to be great parents. Like, start young. Don't wait till you're my age to have kids, because one, you forget how you were raised. So it's too late long. I don't even remember how the hell I learned how to read. I don't remember how I learned any of these things that I
Right.
learned. And two, I don't have patience, and you can't teach me patience.
Right.
I'm 52 years old or 53 years old. I don't have patience. I'm sorry. I expect my kids to do the blankety blank stuff that I tell them to do. Right. I just don't have the patience to say, oh, Johnny, well, that's okay. We'll work on it next time. No, get your shit done.
Only doctors have patience. I mean,
that's
He's
awesome.
been full of dad jokes today, let me tell you.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Hey, so there is a little bit of an elephant in the room. We talked about this yesterday. We had this. We did the big podcast called "The Death of Rubicon Express."
Right,
and
which was
in
quite
there,
a while ago. That
it
was a
quite
while ago.
That was a while ago. One of our most popular podcasts, and it came about when there was a lot of information coming at us, and we knew for a fact that the Rubicon Express brand was being killed.
Right.
It was done, right? And because they had stopped doing production, they were getting rid of their inventory. We were contacted about buying extra inventory. That was it. They were done. And then all the rumors about Poison Spider and everything else that we heard about what those brands were going to do, all under the auspices of Wheel Pros and their acquisition of Transamerica, which I don't even want to go down the path of Wheel Pros now rebranding themselves as Hoonigan, which I think Ken Block will be turning over in his grave to see that go that direction, which is just odd to me. Again, I don't try to be in the mind of another company and what they do, all the things that they're doing.
Right.
But recently we learned, because a friend talked to a friend, and we got the data that Poison Spider and Rubicon Express, both as brands, will be coming back. Looks like they're
in some way, shape, or form.
Exactly.
I mean,
in some way, shape, or form.
We don't know what it's going to look like, but apparently those brands, they didn't kill them off. They're doing some sort of internal restructuring and who knows what behind the scenes. But yeah, again, sometime maybe next second quarter or something like that, we may see some more stuff from them. So
yeah.
For everyone out there that got twisted up into listening to one of those podcasts now and knowing what is additional information, we always try to just put stuff out there as we hear it. So
yeah, and by the way, those who claim that we had misinformation, there is no such thing as misinformation. That is a made-up word created by people trying to label other people. The reality is, information is true or it's false. You believe it or you don't.
Yeah, it's still information.
It's still information. It's just there's no such thing as misinformation. You're giving me misinformation. No, I'm giving you information.
Maybe
you can evaluate that information.
We should give out Mr. Information.
Oh, Mr. Information. Well, that was a dude on TV years ago. Wasn't like Mr. Information? The guy who's just sending your postcard for a self-addressed stamped envelope to whatever. Isn't there Mr. Information? You can get free money from the government.
Mr. and Misinformation.
Mr. and Misinformation. I like it. Like, it's a whole thing. We could start a whole podcast. The Mr. and Misinformation Show.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So is Mr. Information always more right than misinformation?
More right.
Oh
no. Oh no.
Miss.
So, on another note.
But now just
go ahead.
So yeah, but just wanted to point, there is no such thing as misinformation. You get information. You can evaluate it for yourself if that information is true or not.
That's right.
And if I may be lying to you, doesn't mean it's misinformation. It simply is information.
Right.
And it could be false. It could be true. But the reality is we gave you the information that we knew at the time, which was true. And now there's a change.
That's right. And we're just a couple of guys and a gal doing our thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What thing? What thing is that?
Well,
I don't even
I don't
know.
know.
I know. I lost track of what thing we were doing.
So after we left Myrtle Beach,
Yes, back to Myrtle Beach.
we went to we stopped. Our next event was up to Help a Vet Shine. But before we got there, we actually went through Uhari, and I hadn't been out there in a very long time. It's probably been 8 years since I've been to Uhari Off-Road Training Center and that piece of property. JJ USA has an event out there. And I think actually that was probably the last time I was there, but Jesse had never been there. So at the same time, this weekend, at the same time as this next event we went to, the Overlander Project, our friends John Paul Eller and Jess, his girlfriend, and a whole bunch of other folks that we know had an adventure summit. So this was his 5th year of the Adventure Summit. This is the same group, the Overlander Project, that puts together the Artemis Rally. So a bunch of overlanders basically showed up on the property and hung out. And there was a few vendors. We got to throw Jesse's Jeep kind of as a display, and they had some bonfires and kind of hung out and just talked overlanding stuff for a couple of days. We could only be up there for a day, but yeah, let Jesse. I took her into Uhari National Forest, where there's a whole bunch of off-road trails and whatnot. There's actually a badge trail up there called Dickey Bell, and so it took us about maybe 2 hours or something to run it.
Yeah, you reminded me a lot of hot springs and a lot of stuff in Oklahoma. I do not recommend having all your overland gear on your Jeep or vehicle while you are doing it.
Yeah, it turns out like awnings and things like tents and stuff.
It was interesting.
Yeah, those get in the way of the narrowness of the trees and things.
I think I was out pulling trees as he was going a little at a time while I was yanking trees trying to make sure. There's only 2 spots. The rest we kind of navigated, but it was quite interesting.
Wow.
I wish I had video. It's probably more comical than interesting.
No, we got to meet the property owners out there and some of his family. What a neat place. I mean, it's a lot of folks will tell you that URE is not all of that for the off-road. There's the 3D trails out there. It's Daniel, Dickey Bell, and John Day, I think, is the other one. But it's a great little off-road park, and it's in a kind of an odd spot. It's kind of difficult to get to. There's no real easy way to get to. We were about where this next event was that we were headed to. Mileage wise was like 38 miles, about an hour and 10-minute drive to go that 38 miles. So, but yeah, it was kind of cool to stop by, see them, hang out for a little bit.
Get the digs on the next year's Artemis Rally and figure out what we're doing and how we can help, and got a lot of information. Yeah, the Overlander Project, John Paul's doing some really cool stuff, and I think that there's, again, these smaller events, there's a whole lot of focus, I think, and benefit we all get from going to a smaller event. The big events are fine, but you get more one-on-one attention if you want to ask those stupid questions and not be embarrassed. When it's a small group, you can do that, and it's okay.
Wait. There are no stupid questions.
Well, this is true. It's kind of like misinformation.
That's right. The only stupid questions are the ones you fail to ask.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Yes.
But yeah, so we did that on Friday, and then Saturday was Help a Vet Shine. Deborah Bear puts that event on, and I gotta say, she's one of the most unique individuals I've ever met. She's 5'0", full of fire and energy, and will admittedly tell you she's hyper and high-strung and a mess and a wreck. And I tell you what, she has a heart bigger than most any of the coordinators we've ever been around. She puts this event together on her own.
Wow.
It's Help a Vet Shine. It is a large family of veterans and folks that support the veteran community. It was kind of crazy. It was there was another large event in the area that that I think took a lot of her typical traffic away. But they had a show and shine there. There was probably 20 Jeeps total, but they had all kinds of stuff, and it was all kinds of booths and other. It was kind of like a big swap meet in a way. But there were craft vendors and all kind of jerky vendors, and all of those proceeds were going to this vet charity. So,
wow,
yeah, it was really cool. It was something that was kind of emotional. They had a lot of bands out there the whole time, and moonshiners help a vet shine. It took me till the last day to understand that the shine and help a vet shine was.
There were local
celebrity moonshiners that were coming and selling moonshine and yeah.
We met.
You ever thought there'd be a time when the words celebrity moonshiner would come together? Like, could you like?
No,
I would not have predicted that.
No.
Some celebrity moonshiners.
You know, you've watched Walking Dead, right? The Walking Dead. You know Rick
Grimes.
Rick Grimes.
Yeah.
We met Mick Grimes.
We met Mick Grimes.
Oh, really?
He looks exactly.
I'm like, look, there's the guy from Walking Dead. Well, he had a booth set up, and he's actually a
cosplay,
an impersonator, a professional impersonator, which I didn't really understand either. But I learned all kinds of stuff.
Wow, that's
and
cool.
I got a trophy.
You got a trophy?
You got a trophy for what?
The best overland rig.
Really? That's awesome.
She wasn't even in the competition, but they included her.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
I love the Jeep so much because it has Rosie the Riveter on it. Everybody loved the Jeep, so it was kind of worked and played into the vet thing. So.
Well, that's awesome. Well, anytime you can do that, anytime you can support vets, it's just amazing. I went to, in fact, my school for my kids. They're doing a thing. So I got Dell Albright, one of our favorite vets, to go out there. They're doing a big thing on the 9th, I think, at John Adams Academy. Free breakfast for veterans. There's going to be a parade. The kids are going to do a parade and all this kind of stuff. It's just kind of something I love about this school. It's like it's all veterans focused. So on November 9th, veterans can just go into the multi-purpose room, have breakfast, all this kind of stuff. The kids are going to do a parade for them. It's like, it's this awesome.
I love that.
That's cool.
Yeah, awesome celebration of vets. Just an amazing thing. And we got to remember that. I get onto my high horse on Memorial Day and Veterans Day. I always have, like, making sure you separate those. They are different. They are not the same. The media starts making them the same. Celebrate vets. Celebrate. No. Memorial Day and Veterans Day are different. Let's celebrate Veterans Day, and just be ready. It's only a few days away, guys, and we're doing Halloween today. By the time you guys listen to this, it's the 2nd, and then we only got what's that? 9 more days until Veterans Day. Then all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's going to be Thanksgiving, and then next thing you know, it's going to be Christmas. Next thing you know, it's going to be New Year's, and Metalcloak will probably be doing its giveaway of the new year and all that fun stuff. And it's just like, God, man. 2023
you get to
go.
see us.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like at least you guys, at the end of the day, when a year is done, you have a lot you can look at. You did. Sometimes I get to the end of the year and go, I have no idea if I contributed to this year or not. I survived 365 days, but I can't point back and go, hey, I accomplished that. I did coach football or soccer this year, so that was
football.
Fun.
It is football.
It is football. Football someplace.
Football.
Excuse me, guys. But yeah, I did do that this year, so that was fun.
Were you eating gum a minute ago?
No.
Okay. I was gonna say, because you're not now.
I would know.
No gum.
It's that fall tickle.
Yeah.
Fall tickle.
Is that what that is? A fall tickle? No, it's the persistent cough that's existed for like 3 weeks.
Don't drink on.
I don't know.
We don't even get the moonshot.
Right?
I need a mute button. I need that cough button that just says the cough button, go. That's what professional radio guys have, is a cough button. I don't have a cough button.
Like Ferris Bueller, where you can add the cough.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
So yeah, it's interesting. You brought up all the holidays coming up, and I feel like we have not even addressed Thanksgiving. Literally, it was Halloween
Christmas already.
3 weeks ago. It was Halloween, and then now it's Christmas. What
You know,
happened with Thanksgiving?
I absolutely love Costco and their business model. A whole bunch of study on it recently, and it's an amazing thing that they created, right? Price Club and Costco. But I absolutely hate the fact that you walk into there, Halloween hasn't even happened, and they've already got Christmas decorations. They don't even have Thanksgiving decorations up. It is full blown Christmas decorations.
Christmas up a month ago
Yeah.
at Hobby Lobby.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, like,
It's
you know,
wrong.
there are stores, like there's one store here in Sacramento, there's year-round Christmas. Like it's just a Christmas store and it's
Yeah.
year-round, right? Whatever. They probably are open an hour a day for, 6 months out of the year, and then 3 months they're just slammed, whatever. But that's what they have. They're Christmas year-round. Great. But come on, guys, give us a chance to just enjoy the season and the moment for what it is.
They're already doing now everybody's doing the pre-Black Friday sales. Like, remember when we'd all wait until Black Friday? Now, a week before Halloween, there's pre-Black Friday.
Well, it's just going to get that way. I mean, we're going to start Black Friday in January. I mean,
Right.
We extended Black Friday because everybody started doing Black Friday weeks. Right. And then it's the weekend before, and then it's the week before, then it's the 2 weeks of Black Friday. And now it's like, and at a certain point, you have to recognize that when companies start doing that, what are they trying to do? Move inventory off the shelves.
Yep.
Get sales up. They've got inventory on the shelves. Inventory is eating money out of their pocket because it's purely cash. So if inventory on the shelf, it's purely cash that needs to move. So you do sales to keep that inventory moving. Or you're like some companies where
you don't want to count it at the end of the year.
No.
Right. No. And it's because guess what? Inventory on the shelf, especially in a company like ours with the way it's structured, is still taxable.
Yeah.
So you'd rather have the cash than pay tax on inventory. I'd rather have tax on cash in my pocket.
Yes.
But we're fortunate that we don't have to do that. But some companies, gosh, I mean, you see some sales and you have them like every week or every other week, and payroll.
Yeah, time to make
for payroll. There's a local company here that was infamous for that for a long time. They fixed a lot of things over there and they've done a lot better, but they were infamous for that. Just you'd have a weekly or every 2 weeks there's a sale, and it's like, oh, well, they're trying to make payroll. They're making payroll. They're making payroll. And that's just a cycle you get sucked into. Not a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, that doesn't help anybody.
No. But I did have fun doing the soccer coaching. It was a good time. It was fun doing it. It was my first time ever doing it.
That's cool.
The parents were awesome. I bought the medals. We got a bunch of medals that we actually, in fact, they look like this. These soccer medals. And then we had them, then we used our own laser. This is a sample one. Cool. I was just testing. So we used our own laser that we use on engraving other stuff to engrave the back of these medals. And I got those for the parents. And then, they only cost like $6 a piece at an award store. And then we did and the parents were so cool because they kept saying, well, we want to contribute. We want to pay for the medals. No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. No, we want to. No, don't worry about it. Well, some parent went and did the research and tried to find a Venmo account under me, and then started telling all the other parents. The next thing I know, I start getting Venmo for $6 here and $6.
You can't hide.
I can't. No, it's like, come on, people, just let me do my thing, which is just giving you guys little rewards because your kids did awesome.
Well, people want to do nice things in general, I think. So
yeah, well, it was nice of them. Well, it's the whole thing of, it says a lot about a parent who actually has taken the time to take their kids out to do something like soccer or off-roading, or like we were talking about backpacking and getting out in the nature and doing that with your kids, because most don't.
That's very true.
Most do not. Most do not.
Well, we're going to continue driving up this highway.
Keep driving?
Yeah.
We got another few hours to go before we stop for the night. So.
All right. Well, where are you stopping?
We're going to stop in Trinidad, which is on the other side. I wanted to get over we have a pass, one more pass left today to get into Colorado. And then we have 2 passes tomorrow. So with the snowstorm and the construction, we weren't able to go. We can't just all night it and get home because of the construction. So we'll stop in Trinidad, and then we still have about 5.5, 6 hours tomorrow.
Wow.
And it's been snowing, so.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. So what does that mean is when you get home, do you have to go the long way or?
No, it means, so we should get through while it's
The
open during the daytime. It's a 1 lane back and forth again. So yeah, hopefully. And tomorrow the sun's been out, so hopefully everything's melting off. I think we're supposed to be 55 degrees or something at the house. So.
Oh, well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That'll be nice. That'll be nice. How long are you home for?
Couple of weeks. Yeah, we have got a couple of weeks. We've got a group that wants us to take them to Moab. I don't know what that looks like. And then it's Thanksgiving. And then we're headed towards you. And then, of course, our friend is getting married. And
he's marrying them.
I'm marrying them at our house. You know,
you're not allowed to marry Philip. You have Jesse.
I know. It's going to be awkward. Maybe his.
You married both of them? Like, I didn't think Philip was polygamous, but, you know, I guess... Usually, isn't it one guy, multiple wives? I mean, that's kind of weird. One wife,
that's
multiple guys.
Thing.
Huh?
That's a Utah thing. I don't know.
That's awesome. Where's the wedding?
At our house.
Oh, really? So he's coming all the way out there to get married at your house?
Yep.
Because he couldn't find someplace in Tennessee.
Because he loves our house. You should come to our house. Then you'd understand.
I know. I haven't been there. I haven't been to Colorado.
I haven't been there either.
I'm supposed to come to your house. I'm supposed to go visit my uncle in Colorado Springs. I'm supposed to. I think we're going to spend Thanksgiving in Lincoln City, though. I think we're going to take the week off, which isn't really taking the week off because the sale will most likely be going. Right. I'll be working on that 24/7. But I think I'm going to go up to Lincoln City this year. Just relax up there.
Well, it's going to take. I think I get to go back to my friendly dermatologist as well and do that again. So
that's fun. Yes. Yeah. And then we'll see you sometimes here in December, right?
Yes. Yep.
Probably around Christmas party time, which if we can figure out what that is going to be, we'll let you know. All right.
A few more jobbers left out there and some stuff in Arizona before we head up that way. So
sure.
Yeah. Still busy.
Well, Modern Jeepers, hope you enjoyed this very, very awkward, random, all over the place conversation, and this really is what it's like when we're just chatting. And that's what we love about this. But I think we'll get back into getting, there's a couple people, there's several people lined up. And if you guys are back home next week, maybe we can actually get a few of our interviews done. Yeah. Because there's several people lined up who want to be on the show. We were going to talk to them about things. So maybe we'll do that over the next few weeks. Yes. All right, Modern Jeepers, thanks for reaching out. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for being a part of this. Another great episode. You know how to reach me, Matson at Metalcloak.com, Corey at Metalcloak.com, Jesse at Metalcloak.com, and of course on all the various websites. And please, 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 if you have anything, need anything or whatever, just reach out, say hi. Tell us what you need. We'll probably ignore you, but maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. All right. Love y'all.
Cheers.
See you on the trails.